So I'll just begin with an acknowledgement of country, and that I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the land that I'm presenting from, and that's the Bindal and Wulgarukaba people, as well as those of the respective lands of everyone in today's call. I acknowledge their continuing connection to land, sea, and community, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So welcome to the Digital Champions Network online workshop. And here we hope to deliver helpful tutorials, educational sessions, present virtual services, which will be accessible via your telehealth cards, and provide a platform for peer discussion on all aspects of digital health as it applies to residential aged care. Recording today more for the benefit of those who will be joining us later to view the recording who couldn't be here in the room today. The room's pretty small, but I will actually, just because we really got a bit of a focus today, sort of more on that sort of holiday season, the how we can use the carts over Christmas, just more about a tutorial on actually using the carts. I haven't really got arranged a speaker or a service provider to present their service for today. Mostly it's a little bit late in the year to engage somebody new. We're all in holding patterns, just getting through. So I might just sort of show you a few ways to sort of utilize the carts best moving in, and then we might just have a little bit of discussion just here. I'll stop the recording after I do that, and we'll just maybe talk through the nuances of air who are present, and you know, a bit of the stuff, successes and failures on site there. All right, beautiful. I'll take us through basically a little bit of a, you know, just not a hidden feature, but a lesser known feature, I think, of the Vision platform, and then just one of the newer features of the Healthdirect platform, just to sort of give a bit of a couple of new things that you may not yet be aware of that are very important. And we'll start with Vision, and I like to do sort of my tutorials. We'll just cover, you know, right back to basics. So basically, your Vision your Vision platform will be found on your carts. Just if you open up Edge or Chrome, and they'll be bookmarked on all the carts. So you'll just go to where you've got that bookmarked and come to this sign in screen. Okay, the sign in is a toggle button, and when you actually go to sign in rather than join a call, you just make sure you hit that and select that in green, and you go to dashboard here. Some of you, like me, will have my password pre-saved, but just make sure that you're using your password, either your own login or your home's generic login, and that'll be by email and password to get in. So in we go, and you've basically got on your dashboard here, you'll see yourself here. I'm an admin, usually you'll just be a user, okay? So I've got a few extra sort of manage users and that sort of thing, but you will find generally at least the buttons create a meeting here where you can schedule a meeting for the future, or join virtual room where we'll just go into one now. Now I've got an odd little setup where I'm gonna be using multiple sort of screens, devices and cameras. So it's just gonna throw a little bit of a fit for me. I'm just gonna make sure I'm looking at the right camera at any given time. I feel like a bit of a newscaster. Turn off my microphone so I don't get any awful feedback, and let's go into a Vision meeting. Hi. All right, and with the features that I'm really looking to show you, I can do just in a room on my own. I don't need to add anyone to the call, but as a quick reminder, I will show you that if you go into more options here, you can add your guests by typing in their email in here and making sure they just highlight up in blue, and you'll click add if you're going to add somebody new. But just in the room,
and just jumping in to say,
yeah,
very soon in the next release, maybe in the new year, address book will be an option there, so you can save your frequently used email addresses to your account and access them just from a single click. So nice and simple.
Thanks for the input there. That'll be really useful for those who are using Vision to contact GPs or hospital intervention teams or frequent contacts just like so. Hey, Daniel, please jump in on this tutorial anytime you have extra to add, or I might be going a bit astray in my description.
I might jump in as well, Abe. Is it fair to me to say it won't be long until we've got the mobile number option as well? That's in the pathway. Quite sure.
Yeah, that's another request that's been that's been coming through from a lot of facilities, is the ability to send an SMS invite And then for somebody to receive a QR code and join by showing the QR code to the computer. So that's happening in stages. And yeah, you're right. The SMS, being able to send an SMS invite is the first cab off the rank, maybe in the next month or two.
That's great. That's a feature that's available in Healthdirect, and something I can say that I've been asked a couple of times. Can I just, they get a little bit confused sometimes about, oh yeah, where do I put in the phone number in this? And it really is just an email just currently envisioned. But yeah, I'm so glad to hear that's coming. That's really great. So anyway, that's, yeah, again, how you add somebody there. But really what I'm looking for, that was just basic tours of this platform. But I want to really highlight refreshing your calls, which I've just done a piece on just for the newsletter for those out there who are reading it, but it's a whole lot better if you can actually look at it in video, where I tried to describe it, and it's a little bit of a series and not something easily done in a very short article. But there's two little refresh buttons that are quite useful in your vision calls. Okay, and the first one is just reasonably the easily apparent one there that's just available in that bottom tray of icons next to the hang up button. So please be accurate with your mouse. But really it's this guy here, which is just to refresh audio and video. Okay, and that's a button that's meant to be an easy fix for any time that you may have connected a device mid-call. There's a little quirk to this platform that Abe and Daniel might know the ins and outs of, but effectively it can mean that sometimes you get a disruption. So if you connect something like the examination camera or the digital stethoscope mid-call while it's going, and it seems to send your screen blank, or your other parties tell you that they're not getting your audio, or something seems to have gone awry, just hit the button. It will refresh everything, and often it can just sort of jolt it back to life. Okay, and you often get your video re-established or your audio starts coming through cleanly again. So I guess that's more or less as I see that button. Abe, Daniel, did you have any contributions there? Seems like we're good.
Pretty spot on, Kieren. You're doing well.
No worries. Well, it's not my product, it's your product, but definitely just appreciating taking the tour right now. Look, that's the easy one to find, and it's the quick, simple. It doesn't really have anything. You just mash it anytime something's going wrong, might fix it. All right, but really what I want to show you is up here, where I've got this video call, the title of my virtual meeting room. It's actually a clickable button, and it brings up meeting information. And tucked away in here is another refresh button. And just, Abe, Daniel, that's a little bit hidden in my opinion. It could possibly be more apparent maybe if it was placed next to the video call outside the meeting information, because I see this as a very important button. I want to make sure I show everybody, okay, because that's really important for anybody who's doing virtual, as you'll call it, like a virtual round, where the room remains open and the cart is wheeled from bedside to bedside. Basically, doctor might stay on the call, but you might have family members jumping in and out and other providers. Okay, and if the room sort of stays open, sometimes any documents that have been loaded in or shared through a call will remain in the call as family A moves out, go to the next bed, family B comes in, and documents that you don't intend to share that contain confidential patient information will be there. Okay, so we're really looking to just sort of clean up, and that is a clean up button. Okay, so you just hit refresh VMR, you hit confirm, because it comes up with a warning that says basically we're going to end and restart your call. Okay, and that means that it will dump all your participants, including a doctor you may have hanging on the line. Okay, so that doctor needs to re-click your invite link to come back in once you've done that. So you don't necessarily need to do it every bedside, because you don't want to dump your doctor every patient necessarily, unless that's like a quality control measure you just want to have as a fixed policy. But really what you're doing that is in the event where a document has been loaded into the call that you want to clean out before the next patient is taken. The other thing it'll do is it'll forcibly evict anyone who's refusing to leave the call, if that comes up. But yeah, basically...
Look, and that can happen when somebody's just sort of sitting idle, or they've left the room, or walked away from their computer for some reason, and it's no longer appropriate for them to be in the meeting. You might want to remove them, or they might have come back in and their session is still sitting idle. And what's going to come? I always say this coming soon stuff, but the very next release of Vision, which I think is just in a week, will have the hang up button. Will show you two options. One of them is just a normal end call when you leave the meeting or leave meeting, and the other one will be end for all, which is effectively the same and will also refresh the VMR. So that will be accessible where Kieren just showed you in the VMR options up the top, but also when you press the hang up button and choose end for all, it'll clear out everything and boot everyone out of the room.
All right. Mary, Hannah, has this made sense to you so far? Do you understand where that button is and what it's actually doing?
I'll be perfectly honest, I had to drop out then. The Don was on the phone to me, so I didn't actually catch most of it. I do apologise.
Well, you'll get the recording link and you can go back over it until you got everything nailed down.
Thank you.
Hannah, though, does that make sense the way it's been explained anyway? Fantastic. Really just wanted to drill this one down because that information security, when we're talking confidential patient information, is so important. There are so many risks when we're talking these first forays into digital health. So knowing where those features are, absolute essential. All right. So I might just close down this Vision one here where our finishing off is going to be hit hang up, and it will be an end for all button once that's in there. But yeah, we just leave here at the moment. I'm going to close down Vision simply because more or less from a PHN perspective, if I'm going to do something, not every single one of us uses Vision exclusively. We would like to encourage at least some familiarity with Healthdirect with some GPs who favour the Healthdirect platform, because of course they get it. And they get it for free. So they may have used it and be more comfortable engaging in telehealth with the platform they're more familiar with. Okay, so I'll just make sure I show you this because sometimes you might also choose to use this for a feature that I am hoping to show you, which is the fact that they've really just recently upgraded their live captioning system, which is really one, I believe this is going to be quite helpful for helping the accuracy of your clinical notes. And two, it's going to be something that is maybe going to be an assistive sort of aid in accessibility for helping hearing impaired residents use a visual aid with live speech to text captioning that shows up on your screen in real time. And you can do that in large font. Okay, so it's a useful sort of feature that I just want to demonstrate. So I'm going through a bunch of unnecessary menus that you don't see when you log in. Once you've punched in your username and password, you will end up on a dashboard screen and all of your calls occur under this big green button, go to waiting area. All of your callers are invited to this waiting area list where you pick them up for a call rather than inviting them usually directly into your meeting room, like what happens with Vision. I'm going to just start a call on my own. So I just hit the new video call here, but often you will share the link to somebody who's going to join you in a call. Okay, just down here. And you've got the SMS or email option with this platform, with the SMS coming soon to Vision. So I'll just open a room on my own though, just for sake of demonstrating this feature. And here's me again. And there is a button just down here, right near your apps and tools, CC for closed captioning. And I'm just going to turn her on. This will start captions for all participants. It will be recording all participants and it'll be displayed for all participants. So you just hit start and it's going to start listening to me. Text is rather small at the moment. There is a cog here where you can change your text size, bump it up a little bit. And you'll see that it actually gives you a reasonably, like you can have a reasonably large text. You can bump it up even bigger than this, but I'm just, you find it takes up a fair bit of screen if you really, and you get a compromise sort of who's visible and who's not, but you actually get a visual aid over what's being said. So if they're not hearing it, and those speakers on those carts are reasonably good and they can be placed reasonably close to your residents, but if someone ordinarily can only hear with a hearing aid and the battery just died immediately before the call or some other misfortune, you're just finding that everything's suboptimal, this is going to potentially be something you can jump into. You might ordinarily be a Vision person, but you're just like, look, I know this has this feature, let's use this one today because I know it'll come up like so. And I've probably got enough text now that I've been waffling a bit just to hit this cloud button, this download. So I'll do that. And that gives me a PDF up here that I can just open up, where if you take a look at that, it just shows you when that consult happened. You've got timestamp, who was talking, and everything that was said. Okay. And if it was more than just me talking in a room on my own, you'd actually, yeah, that would be a little bit more useful as to that flow of conversation. But you can find that PDF maybe a useful attachment to your clinical notes, or just simply a reference to refer to when you're typing out your notes, just for something you might have missed because you might have been busy taking a clinical measurement. You might have been taking a blood pressure or something while the doctor and the resident were talking. As long as that closed caption is switched on, you've got that record you can go back to. Now, there's a trick to it just in a little way that I might just sort of explain, in that I've got that enabled. That speech to text shows up a box. It's literally just a click of a button in the call. Some accounts may not have this enabled as a button by default. So I will just, it is on the Healthdirect website under their closed captioning sort of instructions. I've actually referred to it in my newsletter. It's possibly in the inbox somewhere, but again, a video demonstration on how to enable this is sometimes helpful. So I will just end my call here and show you the clinic settings. So when you're in your Healthdirect,
it's very, very interesting. Thanks, Kieren. Apologies for interrupting. I've just got to duck off, but I'll watch the rest on the playback. Looking forward to it. Thanks.
No worries. Thanks for the input so far. Really appreciate it. All
You're
right.
welcome,
I will. Thank you. I'll just pop in. Okay. So on this sidebar here, it may be a shorter sidebar for general users, but admin users tend to have this apps and configure button. Okay, to allow them to change some clinic settings. So under the apps button, if you click that just in the sidebar, you can scroll down to this live captions feature here. You just click details, configure, and then these tick boxes to enable it, allow download of the transcript, show up display of these speakers' names, and color coding those live captions. Not only do they show the speaker name, it'll show a text bubble that's in a specific color to differentiate when, you know, different parties are speaking. If they do, maybe if you've got multiple nurses from the same service who are online or something like that, it will show who's who in a color just for that easier at a glance differentiation. So you just make sure those tick boxes are all sorted. You can change your default font size if you want it to start on a larger size. And yeah, you can change your background color to be something else if you want to, you know, to fit your organizational theme. If your organization has a color they love or something like that, and you just want to tailor the platform to look a bit more you. But black and white tends to work very well for visibility's sake. But once you've done that, you can close it, and that closed caption button will show up in calls. All right. Did that demo make sense to you guys? Is there anything I can go back over? If you, now in the call, Hannah, Mary, I don't think you guys, I actually can't remember who your clinic admin is. It is probably Helen. All right. Who can possibly bump up your privileges if you guys are the ones who are looking at all these tutorials, and she's a bit more vague on what the detail. Healthdirect do have a nice page about your admin privileges and tutorials on how you can change these clinic settings too, which I can always link you to if you need them down the line. Just ask me. Okay. All right. That's it for my little tutorials.